Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. I hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. It is a fucking blizzard outside because March in Canada. But it is so snowy outside that I have both of my children home because, yeah, that's how blizzardy it got. So please forgive the random noises and everything that will happen. But here we are, and it is the day where Mr. Polyev introduces his motion of non-confidence. Now, I don't have live and I don't know when the vote's gonna happen, so I'm not gonna be showing that right now. But here's the deal: it's probably not going to pass, unfortunately. But this is a good political move for Mr. Polyev to take. It is sowing the seeds of dissent among the backbenchers of the coalition who may be looking at what's going on in the front bench and not really agreeing with it. And the amount of Canadian public that is dissatisfied with what's going on now is getting larger and larger, and there are political minded people who will contact their MPs to complain about what's going on. So that's what we've got politically. We've got this, basically this is a chess move for...
Oh, well, I meant to say when I called, did you hear the Liberals on the ND? They are trying to amend the Elections Act again, but...
Oh, the Liberals are trying to amend the Elections Act again, are they? Interesting. That's a coincidence and a half, isn't it? That's just a that is just a convenience and a half, or a coincidence and a half right there. But before we get into the fun politics of it all, we've got some more political correctness to talk about. Some woke politics, as it were. We've got more Sweet Baby Ink stuff that I didn't know about, so we're going to take a look at that. And Fillion is going to tell us about a streamer who thinks she's a dog. Because apparently we don't have enough issues in the world. We need people who think they are animals to be streaming. So yeah, those are what we're gonna talk about today. It's gonna be a fun stream, guys. You guys are. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be an interesting stream. It is definitely going to be an interesting stream. So we're gonna get the woke political correct topics out of the way first, and then we're gonna jump into the Canadian politics. So here we are. We're gonna learn about all the Sweet Baby Ink stuff that I did not learn about yet. And yeah. Yep, and they want illegals to vote in Canada and the USA. Well, I knew that about the US, but if they amend the Election Act for that in Canada, that would be... because we have to register to vote here. With ID and a mailing address. And yeah, like, it's... okay. Interesting. Alright. We'll get there. First, let's learn more about Sweet Baby Ink, shall we?
What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and there's been an explosion of information circulating all over Twitter and other places when it comes to the sweet, stinky, putrid baby and their stain upon the masses of video games. I figured for now we'd be good, there couldn't possibly be more. But like Goku achieving new levels of Super Saiyan, this story keeps getting more powerful and insane as time goes on.
That's a very good analogy, because that's pretty much exactly what this thing is doing. We're like, okay, this is very strange. It cannot possibly get even stranger and more convoluted. And then they go, oh, really? Well, let me show you.
Now it turns out we may have found a connection to Sweet Baby's inception. And it connects in a really bizarre way that you need to see in order to believe. Beyond this, the founder of the baby has been found to call white male players as picky babies.
Why are they obsessed with the word baby? They call themselves Sweet Baby Inc. They call white male gamers stinky babies. Like, how childish is that?
And Suicide
or picky
Squad,
babies,
which has obviously failed and imploded in front of Warner Bros. Discovery's eyes, has decided that not only are players wrong, but Suicide Squad is Warner's future.
Oh,
it's a
lovely.
lot, so let's keep this simple to begin with. Those weird connections.
Is that why they threw Peacemaker into Mortal Kombat 1?
How this may have all started. So far, what we know for sure is that Sweet Baby Inc. was founded in 2018 by Kim Belair. And it's a consulting company that was created to boost marginalized voices within video games through narrative, script dialogue, quest design, and much more.
Why do we need diverse narrative? We have diverse narrative. Video games are probably some of the most... What do we need marginalized voices to be boosted for? What do you mean? Have you not played a video game in the last 30 years? Like, how many marginalized voices have been boosted because of video games? Holy shit.
Sometimes it's more of a subtle endeavor, and sometimes it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like having a black girl in God of War Ragnarok who's apparently from a race of giants.
Time for everyone to head to Ottawa again, I guess.
Norse mythology within a very white part of the world. As in, every single Norse villain within Ragnarok is white, every citizen is white, and even Atreus, whose mother is a giant, is also white. But randomly, for no reason at all, there just happens to be a black girl in this same giant race. Of course it was done for representational purposes and likely was pushed by Sweet Baby from the get-go in order to ensure there was some diversity in the game.
Now, I will, there could have been, maybe, if they had gone and had like a North African capture or something. A sweet baby is someone who deals in sugar. Maybe they had like a North African slave girl? I don't know, like...
But we all know that if God of War was, for example, in the future having a game based on African mythology, that they would absolutely not make any of that mythology or its characters randomly into a white person, because that would be culturally tone-deaf and racist to do so. But it's totally fine if it's done within a Norse mythological setting. Just ignore the fact that Norse mythology is intrinsically connected to Norwegian people, who are predominantly blue-eyed and blonde hair.
That is true. Like, there are, yes, there may have been a few black Vikings, but it was predominantly white people. So there should be predominantly white people in the game.
Don't use logic or reasoning to understand this. Just shut your mouth and consume product like a good consumer instead. Because that's what these consulting groups want us all to do anyway. Sweet Baby has obviously left their stink all over the gaming industry already, but now it gets way weirder than before. Ever wonder how a company like Sweet Baby even comes to exist in the first
Yeah,
place?
kind of.
And who else is a part of this company? How do these things even come to be? Well, let's take a journey together, friends, and let's go
Oh,
learn how
boy.
the sausage gets made, shall we?
I'm almost scared of learning how this gets made, but sure, let's find out how it gets made.
So since this huge story has been blowing up, people have been digging all over, and one
Let's
of the
find out
discoveries
how
is
it's
another
made.
company with an equally weird name in the form of Baby Ghosts. According to its website, Baby Ghosts is a grant and peer accelerator company that helps marginalized individuals create their studios into a reality.
I've been doing videos and writing it because it got started by a Steam player, but SBI, hold on. Oh, Xbox too? I knew about Steam. I didn't know about Xbox. That's crazy.
They further explain what they do in their own words here, which says, Baby Ghosts and Gamma Space Collaborative Studio have...
What is with baby in what? Why are they obsessed with babies? Sweet Baby Inc., Baby Ghosts. Why are they obsessed with babies?
teamed up to offer a grant of $25,000 in a 2-part 6-month program of tailored mentorship with a community of game-making peers. We
Okay.
offer the space and the tools to develop a studio that doesn't need to adhere to inequitable systematic norms.
Inequitable systematic norms. What does that mean? Adhere to inequitable systematic norms. Just make a good game and people will play it. I don't know why this has to be so hard. What?
Sounds nice and simple enough so far, right? What other services do they give, you may be asking? Well, according to them, they offer things like helping you with team development, project management, publicity, and professional connections. That last one...
I want to sit there and I want to say the term marginalized should not mean people who cannot do things for themselves.
by the way, is very, very
Yeah.
important. And as they say,
It
the more
should.
they engage with you, the more they can support you. But what this really means is the more they get to know you as a game developer, and if you have the right credentials, as in you're a person of color, you identify yourself using other buzz terms like maybe disabled or they them pronouns and so on.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not enough to just be disabled. You have to identify as they them. You have to check all the other boxes. You can't be disabled but also think for yourself. That's a problem. You can't do that.
Then this Baby Ghost consulting team will then learn, oh, you're one of the good ones, a sweet baby, if you will. And then they'll use their connections to get other like-minded
sweet
individuals
baby.
to help and maybe even work with you on your game who also identify with similar buzz term words as well.
See? We all have similar politics. Let's help each other out. Let's build a game in an echo chamber. Jesus Christ.
And if you want that $25,000 grant to help you achieve your dreams, you kind of have to also be able to identify within these other labels as well. Firstly, you have to be Canadian, so sorry Americans, but it's that second point which says, you are a member of an unrepresented group in the video game industry. So, if you're a white hetero male, sorry, you are not eligible for this grant. What?
So, does that mean as a Canadian blind gamer, I'm not a developer though, no.
That? You were born a white male against your own will? Have you ever considered that maybe your parents are racist for simply existing? Well, too bad, white hetero male game developer, be gone with you. Your kind isn't allowed here in these parts, but if you're a person of color or pander in any way, shape, or form, well, congratulations, you just got accepted into the Baby Ghost program.
Oh boy, I'm a baby ghost. Could you imagine? I'm now a baby ghost. This is insane.
The people involved in Sweet Baby is Anita and other people who are involved in Gamergate. Oh, we're gonna get there, apparently. We're gonna get
But
there,
then
don't worry.
it gets weirder because it turns out that Baby Ghost is actually funded by another company which is called Weird Ghosts. A lot of bizarre names for these companies, I know. So,
Not very original either. We've got Sweet Baby Inc., Baby Ghosts, and Weird Ghosts.
what's Weird Ghosts, you may be asking? Well, according to their website, Weird Ghosts is an impact fund for studios led by underrepresented founders across Canada. We support video game studios with studio development training, catalytic investments, and community in order to build strong, impactful teams of underrepresented makers who are shaping the future of video games.
Oh, they're shaping them all right. Shaping them into things that nobody wants to play.
So Weird Ghost is a bigger company that through other shell companies like Baby Ghosts use their influence to help what they call underrepresented groups begin working in video games. The site even says in their own words that Weird Ghosts invests in founders who want to build profitable, impact-oriented studios with a long-term vision and commitment to equitable, worker-centric structures. There's that keyword there, by the way, impact. They want whatever it is you're making to change how things are done. That's the key initiative here, and what I want you to zero in as we go along. So it's not enough that you're from an underrepresented
nice,
group
Robux.
or that
I
you
like
go
that.
by whatever pronouns that you do, but you also need to be politically and socially aligned with these ghost companies in order to receive your grant. Then you are overseen by these groups to ensure that what you're making.
Baby Ghost sounds like when the shits aren't cleaned up after. They kept changing the name so people wouldn't know it's them. Yeah.
Is pushing what they want to see. Okay, very cool. So then you're probably asking, who the hell is controlling these companies then? Who are the people behind this? Well, one of them is this person named Jenny Robinson Faber, who according to their bio on the Weird Ghost website says, Jenny, she is a queer white settler, community arts advocate, and
a queer white settler? Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys have to say you're a settler?
Organizer, software developer, and leader in the IDM industry for over 15 years. She co-founded the video games arts nonprofits DMG Toronto with Cecily Carvey and Alex Litch, and Gamma Space Collaborative Studio with Henry Faber and Dan Toliver. In 2015, she joined the board of the Toronto Media Arts Centre and became its operations director in 2017.
See, this is why I'm afraid of going for any, grants or anything for the channel. Because, how many woke bullshit media shit, we've got this gaming nonsense and for small business for small video game developers who are marginalized. How much bullshit is this for film and media and shit in Canada? This is crazy.
Yeah, you read that right, fellas. They unironically refer to themselves as white settlers in their public professional biography. You can smell the white liberal woman guilt from here, but surely that is a one-and-done expression, right?
No.
Well, who's the other founder? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Their name is Eileen Mary Holoka, who, according to their bio, Eileen, she is a queen.
She. What the fuck? How can you identify as they and she? That doesn't make sense to me.
Queer and disabled white settler living on Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg.
Oh my God.
They are a writer, game dev, and community organizer advocate with a background in theater, games, poetry, and health communications. They have a PhD in communication studies from Concordia University and have published extensively within and outside of academia.
Did it go through? I got a PayPal notification. Did it go through?
10:27 a.m. Status bar item.
It did. But it didn't do anything. I don't know if it did anything. I didn't hear any noises. How odd.
Academia. They are a co-founder of both Weird Ghosts and Baby Ghosts with Jenny Robinson.
Weird
Faber,
and Baby
as well
Ghosts
as a member
simultaneously.
of Gamma Space Collaborative Studio. They have also worked as the general manager of Infinite Ammo. Oh, so the white settler bio description isn't just a one and done sort of thing.
Nope.
You could almost say that it's a mandatory identification term that's designed to easily triangulate and point out who the white people are amidst the crowd here, which is just wow, dude, wow. The inner hatred of white liberal women is truly one of the greatest
Does the
jokes
thing
of the
between
modern
your
era.
legs
These are just
identify as a vagina? Sorry, then you're a female. Yep. Get this, she's the same person that started the white guilt movement. The Y bells dropped and the gifts all flashed. Oh, good.
These are the sort of people who likely think it's great that people burn down cities in protest.
You too can
They're
make
likely
the
also
eyeballs
same kinds
drop
of
and the
people who
gifts
would get
flash
mugged
if
in
you
broad
go to
daylight and refuse to give a
streamlabs.com/blindpress.
description of the person in fear of being racist. Also, find it very interesting that Weird and Baby Ghosts both work to prop up marginalized voices within the gaming industry and refuse to work with white people in general.
That is so... Can you imagine if you check all of the boxes except being white and they still are like, no, fuck you. Like if you were disabled and gay and all that, but you were just white, and you refused to call yourself a white settler on living on treaty land. You know what I mean? Could you imagine that?
Yet, unironically, these companies are controlled and created by two white people themselves.
Yep,
it's
of
like
course.
the ultimate white savior complex of a company come to life. It's truly
Because that's how that
incredible how
works.
much these people hate
This
something that
white savior guilt thing that the liberals do, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. This white guilt thing that happens, and it's always white people that start these companies. Like, we're gonna help the poor marginalized people because we're white and we hate ourselves.
that they can't change about themselves. Imagine referring to yourself as a white settler, dude. Holy crap, you can't make this stuff up. It's because of people like this that we're in this mess to begin with, but I don't know if you caught what was said there, so let's circle back for a second. What was the name of that second founder? Eileen Holoka.
Holoka.
Holoka. Where have we heard that name before? Also, Eileen is in control of another company called Infinite Ammo. What the hell is that? Well, if you go look that up, it turns out Infinite Ammo was started by a man named Alec Holoka. And if you look deeper, you then realize that the man who started Infinite Ammo is actually the same Alec Holoka who ended their life after Zoe Quinn accused them of abuse without any proof.
Oh, the plot thickens. Interesting. So this chick is either was either married to or related to this Alec Hololka guy who, because of Zoe Quinn, took his own life.
The same Alec Holoka who ended himself after websites like Polygon and others blasted and ruined his reputation and name because of the whole believe all women narrative. And then, once he died, his company, Infinite Ammo, was absorbed by his sister Eileen, and using all of these connections was able to create Weird and Baby Ghosts.
Wow. What a horrible sister. What a horrible, horrible sister. Holy shit. That is awful.
So the man who died because of the baseless accusations of Zoe Quinn, who is pretty much the progenitor of Gamergate, is having his legacy used to fund and create startup companies that politically and commercially erase people like him from the industry, all in the name of virtue signaling.
That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being driven to the point of ending your life and then your sister swoops in and basically continues the what's it called? Just watching. Which is weird because if I remember right, Zoe isn't even a woman. Really? That I didn't know. Wow.
This is some Jack Reacher level connections we're talking
It
here. I
is.
feel like I'm going to
Holy
be sniped
shit.
through my window by a they-them assassin just for talking about this stuff. But there it is, fellas, right in front of you. The progenitors of Sweet Baby and the transformation of the video games industry is intrinsically tied directly to the very same man whose death was caused by Gamergate itself. Then Sile, who also does YouTube, ended up posting some screenshots on Twitter, so let's go look at those now. And if you look here, well, look who it is. It's Chris Kendrick who said, "So glad to be a part of this cohort. That's right, the narrative designer at Sweet Baby is tied to Weird Ghost as well." And look, it's even the same Baby Ghost icon there in the same infographic where Weird Ghost celebrates the 7 studios they helped launch. And one of them is there as plain as day, Sweet Baby Inc. Then Weird Ghost was found saying in public that their mission is to remake the industry. And there's another image where Infinite Ammo, which is again created by the now deceased Alec Holoka, is the minority investor in startups like Weird and Baby Ghost, which is now, as you know, the reason why Sweet Baby Inc. exists to begin with.
So, of course, this sister of Alec has her own woke political idea, and she's now using his company to invest in all these other bullshit companies. This is insane. Anita supported Zoe after she found out she was trans. Oh. Got it.
So they're not only politically aligned, they are quite literally, down to their DNA, the same thing.
The same company,
Sweet Baby Inc., Weird Ghost, Baby Ghost, Infinite Ammo, Gamergate, Alec Holoka, Eileen Holoka, Zoe Quinn, all of it. It's all done and made by the same group of people. Are you convinced yet that video games as a medium have been infiltrated by activists? Or do you need more proof?
Nope.
Well, let's go to the Game Developers Conference where Kim Belair, the founder of Sweet Baby, who, might I add, fits the bill to a T in terms of what Weird Ghost looks for in someone they invest in, was talking on stage about how her vision for her company works to change the game industry, as Weird Ghost puts it. So,
change the game industry. Why? What is wrong with it? Oh, right. It was making good games. That's what's wrong with it. It was making good games with good stories and hot characters and awesome action.
This clip is from her GDC talk a few years ago, around the time when Sweet Baby was first founded. It's a little bit of a longer clip, however, it's worth watching for context, so let's sit down, get comfortable, and peer into what Sweet Baby aims to do.
See, I have a whole different theory on the suicide thing. Oh, do you? Yeah.
And so I want to put on that, very mercenary hat for a second and talk about the way that we decide how we're going to sell the art that we make. And
that very mercenary hat. I didn't realize selling a game was being a mercenary.
How we're going to approach the audiences that we make it for. Because I think so often when people like us get told, from higher ups or from society at large, this isn't what players want, it's not a conversation
No. You're not being told by society or higher ups. You're being told by players that this isn't what players want. You just refuse to believe the players. That's the problem. Every time a player goes, "This is garbage," you just call them a bigot.
Content, it's a conversation about demographics. And I think that in our industry and in so many creative industries, if you want to look at film and television and any art form, we start treating our core demographics as a fixed and static value, something that does not want to change and something that is locked in place. So despite the changing face of audiences, despite the changing face of conferences like this one, we still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males. And we cater
So
almost
what?
exclusively to them. And the problem is that we don't just cater to them like, you know, here's something that we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them the way that we cater to like a picky baby.
Oh my god, really? We cater to them like we cater to a picky baby? No, that's not at all.
Sweet Baby Incorporated was involved in MK1 Final Fantasy 16.
Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in MK1, Final Fantasy 16, Suicide Squad, and other games from last year. Oh, I know they were involved in MK1. That's why there's no Johnny Cage cameo. And that's probably why Melina is gay, but at least the story was written properly to have, like, it wasn't shoved in your face that she was gay, at least. But yeah, there's no Johnny Cage cameo because there needs to be more female representation, so that's why it's Janet Cage, even though there's never been a Janet Cage ever in any timeline.
We feed them the same thing that we know that they love, and we keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go, you love it, eat this, eat this, eat this, so that then when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which is be like, oh no, thank you, I do not want this. And we've actually done this
it's
so
just
long
bad.
that what we're doing is creating an entire nation of picky babies, and they make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do. Just in case these picky babies don't want to play our games. And we've made a lot of progress. Obviously, like, I don't say this to completely go like, just give up. We've screwed it. So I want to do better than this because, and I don't say that to be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to dismiss all the hate and the abuse in our communities. But I do like to imagine that when we look at white guys, and there's several of you here,
And there's several of you here. Puh. How dare you be here? I don't want you here.
I think that when we look at you, we say, okay, you can't possibly enjoy this. But I think they want also, and maybe you want also, to experience new and different stories. I think we need to step out of this rule that, like, white men can enjoy fantasy worlds, aliens, sci-fi, monsters, anything, so long as it's through a lens that looks exactly like them.
Nobody wants white alien. What? Who wants an alien that looks exactly like a... Huh? Huh? Who wants monsters and aliens that look exactly like white humans? What's... Hold on a minute. I'll be right back, guys. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I had to redirect somebody who was not doing what he was supposed to be doing. So I am back now. Here we go.
Because if that's the kind of person that we're always going to cater to, you're never going to innovate. You're never going to change things. You're just going to keep feeding the picky baby. And we cannot continue to try to create art under a system that is going
I
to
would
bar
enjoy
innovation
news
for fear of a
stories if
picky
it was
baby
not
throwing a
forced
tantrum.
diversity.
Hey,
Exactly.
Maybe we can invite white dudes to play as other people and experience different things through someone else's eyes.
Okay, for years, white dudes have been able to play. I'm sorry, Metroid. It was, what's her name? Samus a white dude? I don't think so. What Zelda? Is Link a white dude? I didn't know Link was a white dude. That's interesting. We're gonna switch to fighting games now. Bushido Blade. I didn't know Bushido Blade that was not presented in English at all was full of white people. I didn't know all those Japanese people were white. Oh my god. What about freaking all of the time? Like, what about where you can make characters however you want? The entire GTA series. Yeah! There you go. The entire GTA series. What about Yakuza? What about the Yakuza series? What about freaking... Oh my god. Just holy shit. Have you people played any games ever?
And if they don't like it, we have to start thinking we're not losing, they're losing, and we're losing because we're going to let them stand in the way of our progress and our innovation. And I think that
your
we need
progress
to stop
and your
thinking
innovation
that
is
our,
going backwards and it's
core
garbage.
marketing demographics have to define the exact demographics of our playable characters and of our cast. And instead, we start to have to assume that players do want new stories, and that if we bring joy to our broad audience, it's going to encompass our core audience as well. Like, representation is this abstract idea. We're seeing it as this weird kind of thing that we can paint over what we're currently doing. But if we start having these conversations as facets of narrative, as facets of marketing, as gameplay, as art, I think that we're actually going to be able to move beyond it. Because when we sequester advocacy into this one series, what we risk is like preaching to the choir. And while you guys already know this because you're here,
because you're here, so you're okay. You're the good white guys, right? You're the good white people. I swear this is the same bullshit she was telling Congress. Yep.
It's old to us can be innovative to somebody else.
So the goal, as you can see, is to reshape the industry to fit their new world image. They view white male players as the devil and want nothing more than to change the landscape to excommunicate and remove them from the industry, as well as when it comes to representation. And it's very bizarre that of all the ways she uses to explain what she hates, she uses the term picky
baby. Yeah, it's almost... The fact that she even came up with that term shows how much, like, how immature she is herself. It's a Lord Famine. Hello, Lord Famine. Welcome, sir.
This entire group is creepy with their wording. Weird ghost, baby ghost, sweet baby, picky baby, even some of the other companies.
Like, what is their obsession with babies?
As well, just very similar terminology being used here. But honestly, it's very fitting as well, because up until recently, for many of you, these people were exactly that. They were ghosts. You couldn't see them, you couldn't explain exactly what was wrong, but you could definitely feel as if there was a presence lingering around you.
That is true. That is true. Until they just showed up, like showed themselves.
People forgot Samurai Shodown and Snuggiver. People forgot Samurai Shodown and Mitsurugi was a white Asian and the same character in Soul Calibur. What?
Mitsurugi was a white Asian. Yep.
Pink Palo, the driving beat moderator. She being Quinn. What?
She being Quinn. Yes.
Forgot Samurai Shodown and Reaction.
Mitsurugi was in Samurai Showdown?
People forgot Sam and Reaction.
Fuck. Now I want to play Samurai Showdown. Mitsurugi was awesome. He was one of the male characters I enjoyed playing in Soul Calibur, because for some weird reason in Asian fighting games I gravitate towards females. But in American fighting games, except for MK1, for some reason, I seem to be gravitating towards Ashura in this game. But, yeah.
Something was wrong with the games you were playing. You couldn't necessarily put your finger on it, but you knew in your soul that there was something at work that you couldn't see that was contorting and transforming the very fabric of this medium that you love so much.
Now you can see
But
it.
if these weirdos are ghosts, then fellas, we've all become Ghostbusters overnight. And it's up to us to find and locate these spectral weirdos wherever we can find them and rid this industry of this rot. But
Yes.
It seems that the rot has already taken hold, and I remember Chris Kindred, who is that narrative designer who openly promotes that they're attached to weird ghosts and all of that, is the very same individual who originally attempted to get the user who made the Steam Curator tool banned off of Steam to begin with.
Oh, wow. That's... Yeah, let's just be open about all that, shall we? Wow. That's crazy. Just be all open. It's like everybody that's been causing problems has decided in 2024 to just stop hiding and come out. Like, we've got the people in the game industry coming out of the woodwork and showing their true colors. We've got people in the government showing their true colors. Like, it's like everybody, it's like 2024 is going to be the year of showing the evil so we can all actually fucking excise it.
So a progenitor of Sweet Baby and Weird Ghost attempted to strong-arm Steam into banning someone they didn't agree with because they exposed them for who they really are. Isn't that just fascinating? But there's something that's been bothering me ever since this all began, which is...
You gravitate towards females because you like to hear them moaning.
I've covered them before. Their username on Twitter is Lego Butts. Anyway, they said this and people seem to have glossed over it. Lego Butts said this in regard to the Steam tool and how it collects information. Which, listen, I'm not sure who uses curator lists. My guess is it's people who would never ever buy the games any of us work on, except they do and don't list those particular games here. But there's just nothing preventing this, even though it's clearly not what curators are for. Except they do and don't list those particular games here. Huh. So it's very likely that there are still many games out there right now being sold and played that have been involved with Sweet Baby, Ghosts, and whatnot, and are not publicly displaying their names or involvement.
Isn't that interesting? It's almost like they don't want people to know that they've had involvement with them because it's a bad look.
So, like the ghosts they are, they're still corrupting things without players even knowing to begin with. Now, what could those games be? Sadly, I don't know, yet anyway, as of the making of this video. But it would be a shame if someone watching this was to run names like Eileen Holoka, Kim Belair, or Chris Kindred through the credits of recent releases to see if their names pop up anywhere. It's just a thought, of course, but who knows, maybe something could pop up. But it's become very clear that this make-believe agenda that people like Kindred, Lego, and others swear doesn't exist seems to be a very real thing that absolutely does.
And is absolutely visually, like, visible. You can look at these screenshots and see it.
And of course, another tweet I've seen circulating is this one showing other companies that are also directly tied to Sweet Baby and Weird Ghosts as well. It's gonna take time to sift through all of these, but there's some very eyebrow-raising names on that list.
He was only in Samurai Showdown 1 and 2?
Those are the same people who were contracted by Square Enix when they worked on Forspoken. Gamer X is a big one too. I'll have to look into that one in a future video. And then there's Anita Sarkeesian when her name keeps popping up too. And look at that. Infinite Ammo, Weird Ghosts, and GameSpace. All of these are controlled by Eileen Holoka and Faber as well.
Holy shit, she's got her fingers in everything.
Cozy Comet Games. Where have we seen that before? Oh yeah, they were on the infographic when Weird Ghost was celebrating all the startup companies they helped fund, and there it is, right there. Cozy Comic
The web thickens. Holy shit. This is crazy.
Games as plain as day, so that's another company created by the sweet baby. So how deep does this rabbit hole go? But this is very interesting, my friends.
It
Very
seems
interesting
bottomless.
indeed. At least it's good that I can say that we're not crazy at all, and actually we were right all along instead. I've had plenty of Reddit threads saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, that I'm this hate-mongering person, but it's very nice indeed to know that I've been right all along. And they can gaslight me, Yellow Flash, and many others all they want, but the truth is that we were right. We aren't crazy, and we aren't lying. And in actuality, it's these groups instead that are the ones who are lying, and they can try to smear our names, but the devil is bathing in the sunlight, my friends.
Yup.
And it's safe to say that they can't hide anymore.
They're out in the open, we know about it, and now that we know about it, we can actually do something about it.
Because while the devil does try to convince the world it doesn't exist, it looks like the public isn't believing their lies anymore. Finally, I just want to quickly go over the Warner Bros. Thing, but apparently after Suicide Squad blew up and died, Warner has decided it's going to double down on live service elements instead of rejecting them, and believes their future is not one-and-done games like Hogwarts Legacy, which, mind you, sold over 22 million copies and was the best-selling game of 2023. But never mind that, Warner thinks that is not the way to go,
Fucking
even though
Warner
its success
Brothers
proves that that's what people want. Instead, we need more Suicide Squads because that's the future apparently, especially considering how bad it did and nobody wanted it. These people are idiots, dude. But what it means to me more than anything is that Warner Bros. Would rather double down on a failed product spearheaded by Sweet Baby than create a profitable product like Hogwarts Legacy, which to our knowledge anyway was not touched by the baby. But maybe it was, and Lego Butts outed that to a degree. We don't know yet. I can't wait till the internet discovers more, but it's proving that time and again, as much as they tell us we're crazy and wrong, we keep being proven right.
That's the thing. Everybody wants to, whenever people point shit like this out, oh, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a conspiracy theorist. You're a right-winger. You don't know. Nope. It keeps being proven right. We keep being proven right about shit like this. Over and over again. And it's getting a little bit tiring. Because it would be nice to not be right about things like this. It would be nice if that wasn't actually happening. But hey, apparently we don't get that luxury. Just like the luxury of not knowing about this streamer who thinks she's a dog. I am about to break that luxury for us all, and we all get to now know about this streamer who thinks she's a dog. Are you all ready? Are you all ready to have your lack of knowledge shattered? Here we go.
This girl took I Got That Dog in Me a little too far. Which streamer starts new meta by identifying as a dog and sleeping in a crate?
No. No. We're not actually crating ourselves, are we?
You can fix me? Start fixing me, Techno, by getting this shit off me.
Every day that passes,
What the fuck?
I get more and more.
Fix me? Start fixing me, Techno, by getting this shit off me.
What the fuck? What the fuck am I watching? Is this the new Deer Girl? Maybe. Maybe she is. Who knows? She's wearing a bite collar. Oh God. Oh dear God.
Every day that passes, I get more and more radicalized, I swear. I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, which was only a couple years ago, there were no dogs, there were no cats, there were no horses. I don't even think I knew what furries were.
Yeah, I didn't know what furries were till I saw that fucking CSI episode.
As a child. And thank God, for any of my old heads out there, The term meta in this context means figuring out the most efficient way to go viral and make money. In video games, it's min-maxing, okay? It's using what works to the best of your ability so that you reap the most rewards. In this case, this girl is LARPing as a canine because that brings attention. I'm confused. Making commentary videos on YouTube is a sport, I swear, okay? And I'm trying to be the best athlete, so we gotta stay hydrated.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Cone of shame. Yes, put the cone of shame on her, please.
A Twitch streamer named Meowdalin may have just started
Meowdalin? Wait, her name is Meowdalin and she's a dog. Why is she a dog and not a cat?
new meta by identifying as a dog and even using the bathroom outside.
No!
Now, immediately, my first question is she autistic?
No, please tell me she's not actually going to the bathroom outside. Like, I've done that at the cottage when someone's been in the outhouse, but I've never, I've peed outside. I've never, gone to the you know what I mean? Like, please tell me this isn't happening.
I know. I'm not kidding, but this is not neurotypical behavior. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many people in my immediate life who think it's okay to act like a dog. Maybe you do. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But
I don't know
myself,
anybody.
This is foreign
Like,
to me. Maybe
not even when you're a child and you're playing around at being an animal, do you think to yourself, I know, I'm pretending to be a dog. I'm gonna go outside and go to the bathroom. Oh, open air pooping? Yeah. Never done that. If somebody's been in the outhouse taking a shit and I've had to take a piss, I've gone and squatted at a tree. But I've never taken a shit outside like a dog. No thank you.
maybe there is some deep-seated trauma, and the only way she can express herself is by acting like a dog. Who am I kidding? This is fucking crazy. Over the years, dozens of wild Twitch metas have cropped up that were designed to captivate audiences. We've seen hot tub streams
I did it at the side of the road on Saturday. Yeah, exactly.
And of course, hotly debated reaction content. But now
There's a difference between taking a pee real quick and like running outside to go to the bathroom and
now, some streamers are pretending to be animals. Now, when I look at these two pictures, the first thing that comes to my mind is some sort of psychosexual disease. I'm not equipped to deal with this. This is why you need to support the Third Eye Global Patreon, because I will hire an on-staff psychologist to call into the explain to us what is going on here. Meowdalin is unlike any Twitch streamer you've ever seen. I don't know, I've seen some pretty dark fuck shit on this platform, so she claims to identify as a dog and has handlers instead of boyfriends.
No, you don't call your boyfriends handlers. What the fuck? Why?
To
No.
help train her. The Twitch streamer explained her whole situation on the Australian radio
This has
program
gotta
The
be
Kyle
a
and
fucking
Jackie O Show.
fetish.
The hosts were downright baffled by her broadcasts, where she even occasionally wears a muzzle. Let's take a look.
This has
shall we?
got to be a fetish.
My name is Meow, like a cat, but I am a dog.
Why did you call yourself Meow then?
And, you know, it's kind of like whenever you have a really small dog, like a Chihuahua, and you name it Hercules.
That's why I just
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You know how when you name a small dog Hercules? Yeah, I'm Meow like that.
Whenever you have a really small dog, like a Chihuahua, and you name it Hercules.
That's why I just go
You've
around
seen
calling
her live
myself a
stream?
beta
Oh,
incel
God.
virgin, because in reality I'm Chad motherfucking Thundercock.
What happens when I hit this thing? Do you react?
I don't like that.
It's a dog controller.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Handlers. They feed me. They
Ew.
take me on walks.
Ew, no. I have handlers. No. I agree, she's taking a pet play to the extreme. Yeah, like, this is... There's gotta be a fetish here. Like, this is not normal.
Callow, the driving ape moderator. Close your office door. Button.
My office door is closed.
But Pink Mallow, the driving ape moderator. Snuggiver, snug ad reaction. But Snuggiver, I can't believe Twitch didn't ban her. But
I can't believe Twitch didn't ban her. I can't either.
text field. Double tap to edit.
In fact, hold on. I'm gonna check something very quickly. Just give me a quick moment. I have to do two things at once. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. We're back.
Snuggiver, I can't believe Pink Mallow, the driving ape moderator. This would ad react. Pink Mallow, the driving ape moderator. This would have been much easier if there wasn't a blizzard outside. But
This would have been much easier if there wasn't a blizzard outside. Yeah.
double tap to edit.
This was literally like it was literally like snow blindness outside. It was not safe to go to for the kids to be walking. So I apologize for that, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. So let's get back to this.
We practice training, which is one of my favorite things because I get
We
treats
what?
on walks. We practice training, which is one of my favorite things because I get treats.
What are your treats?
Ad reaction. Chat ad. Lord Famine moderator. No
What are your treats? What do you get as treats? And if these handlers are supposed, if handler was another word for boyfriend, what do you do for them? Ugh.
If we treat this like anything other than an internet grift, which is exactly what it is, there is simply too much to unpack from a mental psyche angle.
Yep.
She's explaining on national radio how she derives pleasure out of getting treats from her handlers. Okay? We're talking about a human being here. What in the Sigmund Freud fuck are we witnessing?
So if you go out into the backyard and you do a poo, or do you wipe it on the grass?
Sometimes. I have before.
Oh!
Typically, though, you know, it's either raining or something, so I gotta get over myself and I gotta use the human toilet, I guess.
You see, that...
What? Wow.
So I gotta get over myself and I gotta use the human toilet, I guess.
You see, that inflection in her voice, it's just so forced. Like, you already know
Yeah.
she's fully aware of her own grift. And just like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, it's quirky. I guess sometimes I have to use the human toilet. This is...
Yeah, she's totally faking this. This is not a... She's wearing a dog collar with a tag, and it looks like she's taking the pet sub thing as far as she can. Yeah, that's what this looks like. And that whole, well, sometimes if it's raining, I have to use the human toilet. Like, Fillian's right. She's totally aware that this is not normal, and she's just grifting.
This is a prime example of somebody who's tapped in to new social media culture, taking advantage of the boomers. Because, yeah, you could probably go on any national radio or television show and say the most deranged shit and they'll take you seriously. Like,
Yeah.
Because the average IQ of these people's audiences are that of geriatric patients, okay? Who cannot fathom this level of absurdity. It
Yeah.
just goes right over their head. Like, oh, this woke liberal world is getting crazy. This other day I saw this chick on the radio. She's a dog.
Do you do
And
that
you-
in the
you-
park? Like, do people give you funny looks?
You know, I don't find myself focusing on what other people, I guess, are their reaction toward me because I'm so in the moment of just being the dog.
When you
I'm so in the moment of being the dog. You know, yeah, you are so full of shit. You are so full of shit. Nobody believes
do
you.
have sex, is it only doggy style, or
Ah!
do you do human things?
Yeah, I should have expected that. Also, what a question to be asking. Hey, when you get plowed by your multiple fucking dog trainers, are you doing doggy style, or you mix it up?
That is a weird question. That is a very,
And reaction. Lord Famine.
very,
No worries, B.
very weird question. And it's also gross.
She barks at him. Speaking to the radio hosts, Meow revealed that her handlers are responsible for feeding her, taking her on walks, and even
Feeding
giving her
her?
treats if she has good training sessions. Meow is so committed that she'll even go to the bathroom outside, but admits she sometimes has to use the human toilet depending on the weather. Now that right there is complete bullshit. Or
Yep.
should I say dog shit?
If she was actually, like, thinking she was a dog, she would go outside even if it was raining. She's fairly cute, so it's probably just her using it to grift cash out of her audience. Yep. See, this is why, like, I feel like such shit sometimes, because I actually try to be an intelligent content creator and, like, add my 2 cents to the things that I'm watching and, you know, have good discussions and shit, and these people just show up and they can... Oh, it's ridiculous.
Because if you're really about that life, then you bet your ass you better be in the backyard, rain, sleet, shine, or snow. None of this half-measure pussy bullshit.
It's
She eats on the floor.
Poop in the toilet. I swear, man, these new dogs are soft. As for how strangers react,
I
to the
wanted
content
to
in
burn
public,
my
Meow
old
says
phone
she
when I
tries
was
not to
watching her
focus on what
stream.
other people think because she's so, quote, in the moment of just being the dog. I have an impossible time believing that she does this shit in public. This is
I do too.
100% a Twitch character. This is a doggy LARP. The response to Meow's antics hasn't exactly been positive, but that hasn't stopped her from amassing over 15,000 followers on Twitch and
Fuck
more
my
throughout other
life.
platforms. This is so disturbing. I feel so sorry for her, one concerned viewer remarked. Look, we're in the era of slop, okay? You're gonna be getting slop news, slop blogs, slop content, slop takes. It's just sloppy all around because that is what is selling. Media is dead, and people like Meowdalin have fucking killed it.
It's true. It's true. And then anytime anybody tries to be intelligent, everyone's like, nah, I just want the stupid flashy shit.
So if you're expecting any thought-provoking analysis of this, I'm sorry, it's just, we're living in an era of slop. We have shitty, horrible news headlines that I have to pretend are actual, like, important to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh god, just having a transcendental life crisis, talking about Dexerto articles, like, what am I doing? I have a 4-year college degree, and I'm talking about a girl who pretends to be a dog for internet clout. Fuck. I'm losing it.
Where did you come
Poor
from?
Fillion.
Call me Mr. Worldwide the way I pitbulling through these streets. Call me
What?
Mr. Worldwide the way I'm pitbulling through this bullshit!
Seriously? Pitbullin'? The way I'm pitbullin'? Oh my god.
Can I have more? Can I have another ball, please?
Please
All right,
stop.
kinda get it.
Please stop. Why is she listening to Enya? Why is she listening to Enya? The dog girl listens to Enya. Okay.
The aesthetics of all of this are just throwing me off, okay? She's got like a BDSM fucking muzzle on her face with like cutesy dog paw ears. Like, ugh! It's revolting to me. Call me a nice Christian boy, a nice Catholic youth, but what the fuck is going on here?
This is not cute. This is not cute. And the fact that Enya is playing, now she has a muzzle on. Oh god, she's got a muzzle on and she's got Enya playing in the background.
Chat message input and react. Snuggiver. She has cameras everywhere. But
She has cameras everywhere.
I stumbled on her when she was live streaming Final Fantasy 14. But
You stumbled on her when she was live streaming Final Fantasy 14.
she eats on the floor. And
How is the dog supposed to play FF14?
pink palette.
That's interesting.
Close, but alt 7. Snuggiver. Chat message.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Field. Double tap to edit. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
This is weird and just ugh.
Cranking my hog, I'm cranking my hog. Where are my fellow hog crankers? Genuinely, am I the perverted one for my mind going here, or are there some weird undertones that nobody's addressing?
No, you're not wrong. There are definitely some very weird undertones here that nobody is addressing. This girl is in a little virtual hand patting her head on screen. Oh god! This is
Now,
this.
person you follow. Showed interest in
I feel very
Snuggiver. She has cameras and
I feel very odd watching this video.
chat message input.
I feel very dirty. So, Ugh. Ugh. Somebody do something. Make the eyeballs drop. Somebody do something to make this less disturbing.
She's got this dog cage on her face. She's going cross-eyed with her tongue out and panting. I've never seen a dog do that. You already know it's reminiscent of that Belle Delphine, OnlyFans, Ahigo, kawaii, cute Japanese girl. That bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I know where that's coming from, and I know what the purpose is. I think everyone else does too. You refer to your boyfriends as
handlers.
and they train you and reward you with treats.
Yeah, you have a sub fetish and you're taking this pet play To be honest, she's cute enough that I'd rail her if I got the chance, but I'd tell her I was from Florida or something. Hey, thanks for the bits, Lord Famine.
Since you're not a dog, and you don't succumb to Pavlovian conditioning like an animal, there's gotta be some sort of agenda here. But for 16,000 followers on Twitch, I mean, that's really not that much. Like, shout out Meowdlin for amassing 16,000 freakazoids.
Hey, Duck Dog!
She really is just about that life, and she's got something going on that, you know, I'm being a bit judgmental about. But I don't think it's fair for people to not judge you when you present yourself as such. The fact that we even have to pretend that this is so far out of the ordinary of behavior, it's asinine. I'm just thinking of the most absurd situations. Like, imagine you're a married man with a wife and kids, and you come home after work, and your wife walks in on you, and you have a Meowdlin stream open of her going... Like, how are you going to explain that?
Right? Could you imagine? Oh my god, that would be so embarrassing, and I would never go on the internet again if I was that guy.
No, she's not actually a dog. Well, she kind of is. I would have an easier time explaining to my hypothetical wife why I'm watching gay than a Meowdlin stream.
This is my purple muzzle. It fits me a lot better, but it's because it was actually, like, made for me.
A lot of these Twitch streamers have subscription games where they will perform a task if somebody donates enough. Like, I wonder what would happen if I dropped 100 subs in her chat. Would she take a shit on the floor and then eat it like a bad little doggy that she is?
Oh god, Philion. Holy shit. That got dark. That got dark fast.
Then, and only then, will I start believing that she's about this life.
I'm still going viral, apparently.
Yeah, because you're a dog and you care about that.
I don't have Twitter, so I don't know what's going on there, but apparently I've reached Twitter.
That's probably for the best, honestly. You might want to stay clear of Twitter.
Yeah.
What happened is I guested on an Australian radio talk show, and now I am everywhere on the internet.
Well, then why did you do that?
I have been reported on in Iceland, in Germany, in Mexico, in Italy.
If people are awkward, then walking in on your boss watching birthing videos at full audio. Oh, the Chicago fire scene. That was great. That was great.
Which is just Italy. So much. Just everywhere.
I think it's unfair to be surprised, like, ooh, I'm getting negative attention for being a fucking dog. Like, what do you expect? You expect the normal person to just sit here and take it at face value? These quirk chunguses are getting way too comfortable, bro. What do I do? What do I do? How do I compete with this? On the internet, there's a lot of talk about being a 1% man, an alpha male, right? Whatever the exact opposite is, a bottom 1% male, is exactly who's watching a Meowdlin stream. I can only imagine the absolute freak on the other side of the
I could think of 3 accounts that posted her on Twitter just off the top of my head. Twitter and Reddit. That's it. I'm putting my dick in your eye socket and I'm putting it up on Reddit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gooning all day long.
They
when
better
she puts the muzzle on. And forget it. When she says your name in chat and barks at you, it's over. There's a weird thing going on where newer generations, and I guess people that have lived rather different lives than myself, have never been around people that have told them to stop what they're doing. I think
they literally haven't. They literally have not done that. Their parents have not said, "Hey, cut that shit out." Nobody's ever said that to them. This is why. Like, I don't like to stifle my kids' imagination. I like when they play and shit like that. But there are some things when they're doing them and they're like loud or they're being ridiculous that I'll be like, "Hey, knock that shit out. Cut it out." and it's necessary. Sometimes you have to tell your kids to knock it off.
Times I struggle with emotional empathy because I'm trying to put myself in somebody's shoes, or should I say fucking, pause. This is only possible in endgame capitalist Twitch, where you can milk strangers dry that you'll never have to see in real life, where you can LARP as a dog. Now you may be wondering, is there an OnlyFans funnel at the end of this rabbit hole? And the answer is no. I don't know what the goal is here. Philion, that's very misogynistic of you. Let's support sex workers, okay? Look, I don't care. Go get your bag. If I was a girl, I would be doing that too. I would be milking all the men from Turkey, virtually, of course. But that doesn't mean to say that we all can just sit here and pretend and act like this is normal behavior.
No, it is definitely not normal behavior. There is some underlying fetish going on here.
Folks. Dumb bunny.
I am not a dumb bunny.
Right. And that's not wet cement.
Damn, son!
I guess cat girls are a thing, right? That's some like deep Minecraft 12-year-old shit. We're like, oh, cat girls. But I'm sorry, I'm a 25-year-old man with a house and a mortgage, so I can't be playing these games anymore. I need to call it how I see it. Fuck. Men used to go to war, okay?
Yeah.
And now some of you are in her comment section. It is so over. I guess some girls just can't be hot on their own, so they have to position themselves as a schizophrenic, mentally ill animal LARPer to appeal to some sort of psychosexual fetish. Like, help. From an ideological masculine perspective, I wish nothing but doom and misfortune on any man who spends their hard-earned cash on an e-girl who LARPs as a dog.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Just spend your hard-earned cash on streamers who don't LARP as dogs. I don't think the fetish is underlying. It's right out there in the open. Okay, granted. Granted, Lord Famine. Granted. Yeah, don't spend your hard-earned money on streamers who LARP as dogs. Spend your hard-earned money on streamers who actually have things to say. So before we switch to the Canadian politics time. Oh no, I have no more coffee. Well, shit. That sucks. I've run out of coffee. That's gonna be hard for the show. Well, I'm gonna quickly do a child check, and then we will switch to our political time. So strap in, share the stream, check out the slabs, and I'll be right back. Okay. So, we're back. And we're ready to start the politics section of the stream. So here is the short video that we're going to look at, having to do with Pierre Poilievre talking about where he's basically threatening Trudeau yesterday, and this is happening yesterday, and I think this is a clip that we're going to see from the question period. But I wanted to just show it to you guys. You missed a grift chance, BP. You should be telling them to spend their money on blind streamers that deserve it more because they're not weird pet girls. Yes, do that. I will, yes. Instead of spending your hard-earned money on weird pet girl streamers, spend your money on blind streamers like me who deserve it more because they're not weird pet girls. Streamlabs.com/blindpress. Go there. Drop some things and make the eyeballs drop. See what happens when you drop in money.
This Prime Minister is not worth the cost, with the Parliamentary Budget Officer testifying again that the majority of households will see a negative impact as a result of the carbon tax. End quote. Now he wants to hike the tax on April Fool's Day. We won't stand for it. So what will it be with this Prime Minister? Will he spike the hike, or will he face a non-confidence vote at a carbon tax election?
So the motion that he brought yesterday to cancel the carbon tax did not go through.
Parliamentary Budget Officer's report lays out clearly that 8 out of 10 Canadian families across the country where the price on pollution applies get more money back.
More money back. Yeah, sure.
Appearance of the Parliamentary Budget Officer. Once you factor in the rebate but also the economic impacts, the majority of households will see a negative impact as a result of the carbon tax. End quote.
These are quotes. These are, again, you know how Trudeau's like, he doesn't like facts or evidence. Well, here's some facts and evidence.
Plans to make this problem worse with a carbon tax hike on heat, on homes, on fuel, on food. We will not stand for it. So once again, which will it be? Will he spike the hike, or will we have a carbon tax election?
What will it be, Mr. Speaker? It will be that Canadians get more money.
More money. Where? Where are we getting more money? Where is this happening?
Carbon rebate. Not only did the Parliamentary Budget Officer testify that the majority of households will pay more in carbon taxes than they will get back in rebates. There is a table showing that every single province in which this tax applies, the middle-class families pay vastly more than they get back, and Canadians know it, because under this Prime Minister, they've seen their food, their fuel, their homes, their heating go through the roof. But why don't we just end the debate and let Canadians...
Gas was $1.40 last week. I just passed a gas station. $1.60 at the same gas station. That's crazy. 20 cents up. So that is what's happening. This is what I'm going to show you, because this is, I'm guaranteeing you, that was taken from this. That was taken from this question period. I'm guaranteeing you right now. And so today, this question period's from yesterday, but today, Mr. Poilievre is introducing a motion for a motion of non-confidence. I do not know when that vote is taking place, so I will be playing this, but I will also be checking out when the vote for that is happening.
Oral questions. Questions orales. L'honorable chef de l'opposition.
The honourable leader of the opposition.
Oh, look, Pip is back.
The common sense conservatives have a plan to cut taxes, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. However, the costly Prime Minister, with the support of the Bloc Québécois, is inflating inflation with taxes and deficits and the Prime Minister wants even greater tax hikes on the 1st of April. Will the Prime Minister inverse his inflationary policies, or are we going to have to defeat him with a no-confidence vote and an election on taxes? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The carbon remittance puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 families.
No, it does not!
We give more families to families whilst fighting against climate change, Mr. Speaker. That's what the vast majority of Canadians want.
Oh.
Unfortunately, however, the Conservative politicians...
Unfortunately, the Conservative politicians... Can I turn it up? Can I turn up the Hurtin' Albertan? Yes, I can. Let's see. Let me go over to my virtual device. Thank you. Oh, and thank you for the bits as well. So let's see. Where is my mixer? There it is. There we go. That should be better.
Don't want to help affordability. They don't want to help fighting climate change. Luckily, the majority in this House wants to fight against climate change and give more money to Canadians, and that is what we are trying to do. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. That's quite the opposite compared to what the Parliamentary Budget Officer said on the 18th of March. He said, when we consider the economic impacts of the carbon tax, most families will pay more and be negatively impacted by the carbon
like all
tax.
of these votes, it'll either be right at the beginning or right at the end. Yeah,
Canadians
probably.
will pay more than what they receive. And there's a second carbon tax that is directly applicable on the...
In freedom units, that's almost $1 a gallon in a week. Yep.
Backs of Quebecers. So will the Bloc Québécois vote for Quebec families, or
is that
will
louder
they vote
now?
again
Let's see.
for their real boss, the Prime Minister of the Federal Government of Canada? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Oh, that's
Mr.
better.
Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition
Much better.
stopped talking and started listening to Canadians...
I'm sorry, what?
Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition stopped talking and started listening to Canadians, he would understand that Canadians know that the costs of inaction with regards to climate change are huge.
Oh my god, he actually just said that. He actually just said, if the Leader of the Opposition stopped talking and started listening to Canadians. This man is the master at saying what he needs to do for himself and projecting it onto other people. Holy fuck. This is insane. This is crazy.
Forest fires, floodings, droughts that cost a lot to our farmers and producers, our fishers. This is a reality, and we are fighting against this on this side of the House.
Fighting.
Putting more money
Fighting
in the pockets
against it.
of 8 out of 10 families throughout the country.
Yes, we're gonna fight the forest fires with money. That's what we're gonna do.
The carbon remittance delivers for Canadian families, and the Conservative Party wants to take it away from Canadian families.
Yeah.
While common sense conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost, with the parliamentary budget officer testifying again that the majority of households...
Yeah, so this is the clip that I just played you, but we're gonna see it in its entirety without the clip,
will
with
see
the edits.
a negative impact as a result of the carbon tax. End quote. Now he wants to hike the tax on April Fool's Day. We won't stand for it. So what will it be with this Prime Minister? Will he spike the hike, or will he face a non-confidence vote and a carbon tax election?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
And see, here's the thing. I bet you there are enough people that are being pressured. Like, I'm hoping that there are enough people that are going to vote against this and vote no confidence. Sorry.
Report lays out clearly that 8
I had to tell my kids to stop yelling.
Across the country where the price on pollution applies get more money back every year.
More money back every year.
It's the Canadians, while having one of the strongest plans to fight climate change around the world. That's
Oh yeah, one of the strongest plans around the world, huh?
Canadian families and a real plan to fight climate change that is working, Mr. Speaker, that is bringing down emissions, that is making us more competitive, that is helping build the future.
How are we more competitive?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, I'm going to read again the testimony from the March 18th...
Volume is perfect. Don't change this ever again. Okay.
But also the economic impacts. The majority of households will see a negative impact as a result of the carbon tax. End quote. The Prime Minister plans to make this problem worse with a carbon tax hike on heat, on homes, on
food,
fuel, on food,
medical expenses.
So once again, which will it be? Will he
fucking
the hike,
everything?
Or will we have a carbon tax election?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
What will it be, Mr. Speaker? It will be that Canadians get more money with the Canada...
Where is the more money? Show me. Show me the more money. Justin Trudeau.
Every year from the Canada carbon rebate, then they pay in the price on pollution.
Bullshit.
On top of that, we are fighting...
So the Auditor General's a liar. Okay. Cool. He may as well just come out and say the Auditor General is a liar, Mr. Speaker. That's basically what he's saying.
Making our industries more competitive and preparing a better future. There is no plan on the Conservative side of the House to either help Canadians with rebate checks or fight climate change.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Not only did the parliamentary budget officer testify that the majority of households will pay more in carbon taxes than they will get back in rebates, there is a table showing that every single province...
He holds up a piece of paper. He literally has the facts and the evidence right there. But meanwhile, he has no facts or evidence, right?
This tax applies, the middle-class families pay vastly more than they get back, and Canadians know it, because under this Prime Minister, they've seen their food, their fuel, their homes, their heating go through the roof. But why don't we just end the debate and let Canadians decide and have a carbon tax election?
Yup. And there was some stupid conservative strategist on the news last night saying, this isn't going to happen, this vote of non-confidence isn't going to happen, but we will have a carbon tax election in 2025. And I'm like, bitch, we can't wait till 2025. If we wait till 2025, no one's going to be able to vote because they'll be too busy starving to death. Until you have to update the mixer anyway. Shh. 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 Quiet.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, The parliamentary budget officer clearly spelled out that 8 out of 10 Canadian families in areas where the price on pollution applies get more money back.
I love how now he's switched it to in the area where price pollution applies.
Is one of the strongest plans to fight climate change in the world, but it puts more money back in the pockets of middle-class Canadians as we build a stronger future, better careers, more competitiveness, and a safer environment for generations to come. That's the plan we have. That's not what they're doing.
Oh, he's yelling now. Oh boy. That's the plan we have! Roar! I am Trudeau! God damn it!
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Yesterday, the Prime Minister told a great joke. He said how well he collaborates with the Premier of Quebec. However, the facts show that everyone in the National Assembly of Quebec, except the Liberals, are asking that Quebec have full powers with regards to immigration.
So, if you're so unhappy with this, use your unhappiness and vote and no confidence. Come on!
The Prime Minister of Canada has refused an essential requestion from Quebec. Is that how he sees Canada's friendship with Quebec? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Stop talking about Quebec like it's a country.
Well, Quebec has more powers in immigration than any other province.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have more powers in anything than any other province.
Knows full well that I spoke last Friday with Premier Legault to say, yes, let us work together to reach our objectives, our common objectives. We are here to help companies. We are here to make sure that services are available. We are here to help with housing. We will work hand in hand with Quebec as we have always done. We are here to deliver for Quebecers and all Canadians all together.
Liar!
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. If the Prime Minister is here to deliver for Quebecers, well, it's just another failure on his part.
Then vote non-confidence.
Has paid for education, for healthcare, for income supplements, and childcare. The Liberal governments said, yes, pay up front and we'll reimburse you later. The bill is up to $1 billion, and now Quebec has a huge deficit because of this, and now the federal government is saying, deal with it, because I'm not going to give you my $1 billion. You're my friend, but go right on. Go right on.
What the fuck is this cheering in the background?
I would be very careful if I was the leader of the bloc.
Oh, are they cheering and shit in the background of the translator? The translator?
Because he seems to think that there are more Quebecers on his side of the house than ours. We speak on behalf of Quebecers, we represent Quebecers, and we're here to work hand in hand to deliver results for Quebecers. With regards to health, we are working very hard to make sure that there are improvements in healthcare services. The federal government is here to disburse billions upon billions of dollars for Quebec priorities.
Where?
We are here to work together and will continue to do so throughout this house as Quebecers.
The Honourable Member from Edmonton Griesbach.
First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities across Canada are slipping further behind. Kids can't access health services and homes are falling apart. But what are the Liberals doing? Threatening to cut billions in services communities rely on. And if we're up to the Conservative leader, Indigenous services would be gutted altogether.
What are you talking about?
Find ways to make rich CEOs even richer, but never find money for real people. Will the Prime Minister honor his commitments to Indigenous people or leave them out to dry?
Ooh, is that an NDP guy?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we are unequivocally committed and have been since 2015 to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities.
Thank you for your
across the
donation.
country to advance self-determination and reconciliation. We have tripled investments in Indigenous housing, mental health, access to clean drinking water, and jobs.
Oh, access to clean drinking water. Really? Where is that?
Nations, children and families who suffered under the discriminatory child welfare system. We've built over 30.
Where's all that drinking water?
2016, and we recently announced that we will move forward in creating an Indigenous loan support program. There is, of course, much more to do, but we will keep doing it.
The honourable member from Edmonton, Griesbach.
Mr. Speaker, that answer is little comfort to the residential school survivors and children who rely on those services. Imagine having to live
Not
in a
wrong.
healthy home with your young children knowing that it isn't a healthy place for them. That's the heartbreaking situation First Nations are facing across the country. The Auditor General says herself that this government has no plan to close the housing gaps that they're keeping First Nations in inhumane conditions.
But Mr. Speaker, we've already said that the Auditor General and the the Prime Minister Budget Officer are liars, Mr. Speaker. Why do they keep talking about this?
Shame. When will the Prime Minister take First Nations housing seriously and provide the communities with the resources they desperately need?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
We have made historic investments in housing in Indigenous communities after decades of wrongful underfunding by previous governments. And we are working every single day to do more. We're committed to working in partnership with First Nations and their communities. We thank the Auditor General for her work and her report, and we'll continue.
We thank the Auditor General for her work and her report, but she's a liar, Mr. Speaker, and we really wish she would stop saying these untruthful things.
To do even more in partnership with Indigenous people across this country.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Parties, there's been an outbreak of common sense on the carbon tax. In fact, Nova Scotia Liberals, NDPers, and Conservatives passed a unanimous motion in their legislature this week calling on their federal MPs to vote against the Prime Minister's 23% carbon tax hike.
When you have an entire provincial legislature coming together and doing that, you might want to listen.
No wonder. The cost of the carbon tax to the average Nova Scotia family will be $1,605 according to the Parliamentary Budget Officer. $1,605. How much will be the rebate for the average family?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the federal price on pollution is
The federal price? The federal price on pollution.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the federal price on pollution is a backstop. It's a system that we put in place to both fight climate change everywhere across the country and put more money back in the pockets of Canadian families where it applies. Every single province had and continues to have the option to replace the federal price on pollution with their own program as long as it is as rigorous and stringent as the federal price on pollution. As long as they have a plan to fight climate change, they can do what they want as long as it's strong enough.
So as long as your plan falls within our rules, I always thought the housing was the responsibility of the band councils and such, so how is it a federal concern? So the problem is that it's a federal concern because the federal government has given these band councils this land, and they've also told them that like they have access to this specific like they would have transfer payments kind of like provinces do. And so the problem is that they aren't getting adequate transfer payments. They're not getting adequate, and they're also not getting adequate help to repair these houses and stuff that they were given. They were also not given like the
It's a very complicated situation, the way that the Indian Act was written down. And I honestly don't fully understand it. I should do a research stream on the Indian Act. Strange if you type in Google boil water advisories Canada, what comes up? Shh, can't say that.
That's the options the provinces have. So they can take that option. We're going to keep putting...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
How much?
Demonstrably false, because Nova Scotia actually has a climate change plan, which he rejected and overrode with a federal carbon tax that is opposed by New Democrats, Liberals, and Conservatives unanimously in the province's legislature. Well, you notice he wouldn't answer my question. He's been bragging about these rebates, but then when we talk about the cost, all of a sudden he forgets the rebates. So I'm going to give him a second chance. In the province of Nova Scotia,
how much
the
is
average family will be $1,500. $1,500. $1,500 per Nova Scotia family. How much is the rebate?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, that is simply not true.
It's not true?
8 out of 10 families right across the country in backstop province.
It's not true that the legislature voted unanimously to have you guys cancel the tax hike?
Provinces, families do better off with the Canada carbon rebate than they do with the extra costs of the price on pollution.
If you mean better off being like you send in that few $100s every 3 months and like, hey, yay, we can buy some extra groceries this week and not like be stressed out. Cool. Is that what you mean by better off?
This is a plan to fight climate change, but it's also a plan to put more money in the pockets of families from coast to coast to coast. Now, the Conservative leader doesn't care about fighting against climate change, and he doesn't care about affordability either, because he would rip up the rebate checks and he would do less on fighting climate change. We're going to keep delivering for Canadians.
The Honourable Leader of
How
the
much?
Opposition.
Still won't answer the question. All the Liberal ministers came in with little cue cards a week ago with all these rebates on them. They were waving them around, very proud. And then when we went to the parliamentary budget officer and said, give us the full price by province, and we quoted that, for example, in Nova Scotia, it's $1,500 in cost to the average family, according to the PBO. Again,
how much is the rebate?
What is the rebate? The number.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we see the lengths to which the Conservative Party...
Just answer the question! What's the fucking number?
More money in the pockets out of 8 or 10 Canadian families. The parliamentary budget officer himself admitted...
Fuck climate change, feed people.
Take his words out of context.
I'm pretty much with you there, Lord Famine.
The costs of inaction on fighting climate
Would you just tell us what the fucking rebate number is, you lump of nothing? Holy crap.
with putting a price on pollution. The Conservative Party are not telling the full story.
God damn, somebody please, streamlabs.com/blindpress. We need alcohol. Oh my god.
Mr. Speaker, he did not, the parliamentary budget officer did not include the cost of climate change because the carbon tax doesn't address the cost
of climate change, because you can't fucking throw money at a cyclical thing that happens to the planet regardless of whether or not we are here. Okay?
The budget officer made clear the carbon tax will do nothing to change the cost of climate change, and that's why the tax costs more for every family in every province. So let's go to Alberta, where the two of the NDP...
One of my fellow kicked out of the tribe brothers explains it this way: if the Indians succeed, there will be no more need for the Bureau of Indian Affairs and for the tribes to keep voting Democrat. Pretty much. Pretty much there, Duck Dog.
EP leadership candidates have come out against the carbon tax, and the Prime Minister's only friend in the province, Naheed Nenshi, has gone totally silent. Albertans will pay $2,900 in carbon tax per family. What will be the rebate for them?
Here, 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 here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, $1,800 a year is the average, is the family of four in Alberta carbon.
I love how he started so strong. He's like, $1,800 a year!
Canada carbon rebate. That is helping them, and according to an analysis by the Parliamentary Budget Officer, is more than they pay in extra price on pollution.
Wait, $1,800 is more than $2,900? Was I the only one who heard that just now?
Parliamentary Budget Officer is more than they pay in extra price on pollution because of the price we put into the federal level. The price on pollution puts more money in the pockets out of 8 of 10 Canadian families and fights climate change while building a stronger, more competitive future. The Conservatives have no plan to fight climate change and no plan to help Canadians with rebate checks.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
All right, he found his cue card, and he finally talked about the rebate. So he says the average family in Alberta will get $1,800, while they pay $2,943. In other words,
that's why he's always stumbling over his words. Yep.
The average Alberta family will pay $1,100 more in carbon taxes than he gives back in his phony checks. Will the Prime Minister tell us if he understands that
always stumbles over his words when he's lying. Yep.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, how about a different stat?
Oh.
The Finance Ministry analyzed, turns out that for an average income quintile group, the average household of 2.5 Canadians, average net benefit per household in Alberta, $723 a year. That's $723 in the pockets of the average
$723 in a year? Oh boy. Oh, hold on a second. I need to go again I need to go wrangle. I'll be right back again. Please excuse me. Okay. Here we are. Sorry about that. Alright, we are back here. And we're almost halfway through because this is a shorter one today. So that's good. I'm just coming back over to Twitch chat. Just trying to make sure I'm at the end of Twitch chat here. We're almost there. Mum mode engaged. Yep.
Because we put a price on pollution that puts more money back in the pockets out of 8 out of 10 Canadian families. That is what we are doing. That's how we fight climate change.
Please excuse her for doing what most streaming parents don't do and parent. Nothing to be sorry about parenting, plus the kids are kind of funny. Oh, good. I'm glad you find them funny.
He wants you to know, Mr. Speaker, he has alternative facts.
He wants you to...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
He wants you to know, Mr. Speaker, he has alternative facts. I get mine from the parliamentary officer. That reports directly to Parliament and is independent. He's reporting. He's
Holy
using numbers that come
shit!
from officials that report to him and depend on him for their jobs.
Holy shit! Oh my god, this is amazing! Holy shit! Stretch? Okay, I will stretch. Oh my god, he uses alternative facts. I get mine from the from the parliamentary budget officer. Oh my god, Polyev, you are fucking amazing. Oh, Jesus.
So let's take another province, Ontario, where the Liberal leader has now come out against this Prime Minister's carbon tax. Maybe she knows that the average cost to an Ontario family of the federal carbon tax is $1,674 for this coming year.
That's a lot of money.
How much is the rebate in Ontario?
The right honourable
1,000 and something.
The average net benefit per household in Ontario is $255 a year.
Wow! Net benefit of 255. That's it? Rebate of $1,000, net benefit of $255. Jesus Christ!
That is fighting climate change while putting more money in the pockets of Canadians. The parliamentary budget officer himself
is a liar.
Demonstrated that 8 out of 10 Canadian families in regions that get the carbon price backstop do better with the price on pollution, put more money back in their pockets than it costs them on the fight for climate change. This is the plan we're delivering for Canadians.
No. Your rebate checks go, oh shit, good. We have an extra $150 this week. We're not gonna fucking die. Yay.
Scrap.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, I don't really believe in polls, so let's not stop talking about polls, but at the end of the day...
Where? Now I know... Oh. Laughed my ass off. I know he meant... $255 a quarter because I get $220 a quarter.
The Prime Minister should realise that he needs to realise who speaks for who. In all polls, for the longest time, the Bloc has always been ahead of the Liberals. If the Prime Minister is so low in the polls, so low that even the Conservatives are in front of them in Canada, it's perhaps because they don't respect Quebecers, or the National Assembly of
Oh,
Quebec.
shit. That is a valid point. That is a valid point. Rebate checks are badly disguised bribes to vote for the PM. Yep.
Very, very true, Lord Famine. Very,
Does he
very
believe that
true.
this strategy is good because he knows that he is never going to gain any more in Quebec, or does he just do it because harming Quebec is a good look for the rest of Canada? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Canadians know full well that in democracy there is one poll that counts, and that's the actual election day.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Let's have one. Let's have one right now, you piece of garbage. If you're so arrogant, well, the only poll that matters is election day. Well then, asshole. Why not call an election? Why not just say, you know what? This seems to be an emergent problem. Let's call an election.
Over the past 3 elections, the Liberal Party has garnered more seats in Quebec than the Bloc Québécois because we are here to actually deliver.
He just called it a
results
climate
for Quebecers
backstop.
and all Canadians.
Yeah.
With health agreements.
The money is a climate
dental
backstop
health,
somehow.
For help for seniors, with $6 billion for childcare in Quebec, with investments that help to create economic growth, jobs for the future for Quebecers, and a greener world for all. These are the investments we do to represent Quebec and will continue to deliver, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Member for Bailleul-Chambly. I think that there's a bit of vulnerability coming through. The Liberals don't know if they'll be sat on their side or the other side after the next elections. If they really want to listen to Quebecers, if they really want to pretend they're listening to Quebecers, they will give more immigration powers to Quebec. They will invest more in Quebec health.
Dude, Quebec, how much more immigration powers do you want?
The pre-prepared cards. Will the Prime Minister finally at least pretend to do his job for Quebecers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Let's talk about tangible facts, Mr. Speaker. 1.5 million Canadians.
Yeah, it's tangible facts. That's what
to our
Polyev
dental
has
plan.
been giving you.
Dental plans against which the Conservatives voted, by the way. Over a third of these seniors are from Quebec. That's hundreds of thousands of senior Quebecers who will finally get dental care for free thanks to the federal government's investments in healthcare. We are here to deliver to Quebecers. We'll always be here.
We don't need federal dental care, though. Oh my God, why do you keep doing
Quebecers
this?
and all Canadians. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Here we go.
Now the legislature in Newfoundland and Labrador has acknowledged that this Prime Minister is not...
He's got a lot of time today. Oh, right, because it's the Conservatives' day of opposition. Second day of opposition. That's why. That's why, okay.
Passed a motion supported by the Liberal Premier and personal friend of the Prime Minister to oppose the April 1st tax hike. They must have heard from the parliamentary budget officer that the cost to Newfoundlanders of the carbon tax this year will be $1,874.
Jesus Christ.
$1,874. $1,874 for the average Newfoundland and Labrador family. What will their rebate be?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, the average net benefit.
Oh my God, he's asking about the rebate, not the average net benefit. Holy shit.
Per household in Newfoundland and Labrador is $303 a year.
That's not what he's asking. He's asking what the rebate checks will be.
That's the money that they pocket with our price on pollution and the Canada carbon rebate checks that go into households across the province. The province is open to creating its own price on pollution.
No, it's not, because you overrode Nova Scotia's.
As strong as the federal backstop, they're welcome to do that if they want to do it a different way. But for the meantime, we're going to both fight climate
Oh,
change
he's
and
gasping.
deliver more money to the families that
He's gasping now. He's upset.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
So here are the facts from the parliamentary budget officer. They're directly from him. The cost to the average Newfoundland family is $1,874. The rebate is $1,497 for a net cost of $377. A net cost. A net loss of $377 and growing. These are the facts. Would the Prime Minister stop denying the facts? And if he really wants to contest and argue that he should be able to raise the tax, why doesn't he have the courage to call an election and let Canadians decide?
There you go. There you go. If he just said it. If the election is the only poll that matters, why don't you have the courage to call an election and have Canadians decide what they want? 1.5 million of 40 million people. Yeah, big change. Yeah. Right? This is crazy. This is good, but good call out for Polyev.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
We are busy delivering for Canadians.
No, you're not. Yes, delivering poverty and stress and drug overdoses and crime.
Mr. Speaker, and we won them all.
Yeah, you won one of them by majority. That's all. You won one by majority, and the last one you barely won by minority. It's a tax. Of course, it's going to cost everybody. Otherwise, it's not a proper tax. Right, but he's arguing that it's an unnecessary tax, is what he's arguing. Yay! Cheers! Cheers!
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
One more. Wow. Then he shouldn't be afraid to have one more.
Yes! Allons-y! See, there's other... Wow, this is bad. Liberals got in thanks to legalizing weed, and they've been falling off a cliff ever since then. Yeah, because they didn't even do that properly. They didn't even legalize weed properly. And now we've got fucking, like, big ass, we've got giant weed conglomerate companies. We can't have the small mom and pop shops. They keep getting absorbed into the big growers. Then we get this stupid... you can't have more than 10 milligrams of THC in your legal edibles bullshit, because apparently people think that we're gonna pay the exorbitant amount of money for edibles and then leave them in reach of children, because yeah, let's waste our $10 1 square inch of chocolate on a fucking kid, right? Fuck, like, come on. Holy shit. Like, I'm sorry. If your kid gets a hold of your edibles, that's not the company's problem. That's because you're a shitty parent. That's what he's changing the rebate word. He's calling the rebate a benefit now. Well, no, he switched from telling what the rebate was to, because he's like, let's do another stat. Let's look at the net benefit. So that's why he's now doing the net benefit shit.
This is a Prime Minister who has doubled housing costs. He sent 2 million people lining up at food banks, 8,000 joining a Facebook group learning how they can eat a meal out of a dumpster, and now his best solution is to hike the tax on their heats, on their homes, on their fuel, on their food. If he really believes in it, why doesn't he call a carbon tax election now?
There you go. There you go. Valid point. Nothing wrong with what he just said there.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we've heard time and time again over these past many months the Leader of the Opposition talk about how Canada is broken. Well,
because it is broken.
Focused on supporting Canadians with things like childcare.
Canada is broken.
And a plan to fight climate change that puts more money
in the
pockets out of 8 of 10 Canadian families right across the country.
You Lord Famine, You are a horrible man. You are a terrible, terrible person. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, Lord Famine just redeemed no cursing. Okay. Okay, here we go.
That is delivering for Canadians, and we've still got more work to do, and we're going to continue keep doing it to deliver for Canadians every single day we're in this house.
Deliver what?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the finance minister claimed that the carbon tax was revenue neutral, that it gave back, that the government didn't keep a single penny. Well, it turns out they keep hundreds of billions of pennies.
Literally.
They've collected so far $20.7 billion and only paid back $18.6 billion. In other words, they profited by over $2 billion by pillaging the pockets of Canadians. When will the Canadian people get their $2 billion back? And if he's sure about taking it away, why doesn't he call an election to defend it?
$20 billion he's grabbed in... And after the first 3 years, we all got shystered. Yep. The problem is that people look at it is that we only wanted to legalize weed rather than he actually promised a bunch of stuff that was going to make a difference from the Harper government. Yeah, he ran on election reform. He ran on transparent government. He ran on a whole bunch of things the first time that people wanted. So, and legalizing weed was one of them that everybody just picks.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader is now complaining about $2 billion that he would never give to Canadian businesses, would never give to Canadians, because he would scrap the Canada carbon rebate.
Yes, he would, and therefore we wouldn't need any of that money given back because it would stay in the wallets of the people. Isn't that fantastic?
We are actually delivering money across the country.
We're delivering the money that you gave us.
To Indigenous communities to fight climate change and help afford their groceries. He wants to eliminate the carbon rebate. He wants to eliminate the plan to fight climate change.
You know how I keep talking about people can't stop speaking from their script. Here's another example. That's true. That is true. That whole legalizing weed thing, that is a script that people keep bringing up.
He has no plan for the future of the economy.
L'honorable député de Rosemont, la petite patrie.
Mr. Speaker.
Oh no, not you.
First. Number one, the Liberals should be proud. Wait, but we're first in what? Air pollution, Mr. Speaker. For the first time, Canada is the most polluted country in North America. We're worse than the United States.
We're worse than Mexico?
People are suffocating and choking.
How are we worse than Mexico? Holy crap.
It makes them sick. People are dying, and it's only going to get worse. Is the Minister of the Environment proud to represent the most polluted country in North America? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I understand this makes a nice video clip for the NDP. We're talking about forest fires.
Oh!
Yes, last year.
Did you just hear that?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I understand this makes a nice video clip for the NDP. We're talking about forest fires. Yes, last year, forest fires were horrendous. The truth is that we have to do even more to fight against climate change. But we have the Conservative Party that wants to take a step back on the fight against climate change. They want to...
Holy shit!
Get rid of the rebates we're giving to Canadians.
You're just punching both both sides at once, aren't you? It's been 5 minutes. I can swear again. But seriously, he just punched the NDP and the Conservatives in the same sentence. That's insane.
And the NDP never has had a plan when we were in there with concrete action. We'll continue to be there.
God, you are a horrible translator.
From Winnipeg Center.
Mr. Speaker, the Liberal government continues to fail women, including care workers in women's shelters. And the cuts to women's shelters have not only impacted women fleeing violence, but also shelter workers who are facing a burnout crisis, consistently overworked and underpaid. 75% of the care economy are women. This is a gender equality issue.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop. This is a gender equality issue? Oh, stop. How about it's a social issue, not a gender... Oh my God.
Why does the so-called feminist liberals stop wasting millions on private consultants and invest in fair wages for shelter workers to help save lives?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I love the golf clap
Mr.
there.
Speaker, we have demonstrated from day one that we are there to work with the provinces to invest in the care economy, whether it's commitments to raise personal support.
Canada is carbon negative. They absorb more carbon than produced. Sorry. It goes Australia, Canada, then the United States. Huh.
Support worker wages to $25 an hour, whether it's our historic child care agreements that are creating wage grids for early childhood education.
Wage grids, wait, I can't talk because I'm lying.
Whether it's moving forward on strengthening support for Indigenous communities and care workers in Indigenous communities and from
taxes are ridiculous. Women most affected.
We recognize there is more work to do, but we are there to do it hand in hand with the different jurisdictions across the country.
And the Conservatives hate you all.
Mr. Speaker, parents
Monsieur le Président
Woodbridge have been talking for years about what a hard time they're having finding daycare spaces for children, and that's why we put forward our early learning and child care bill, which the Conservative Party tried to delay.
Yeah, because $10 a day childcare is horrendous, and nobody with a right
house on the status of this important bill. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, childcare services are not only supports for parents but also for our economy. I'm so happy
in
to
Winnipeg.
See that with our support and the support of
that shelter, that person who was talking about the shelters was from Winnipeg Center.
The child care bill in Canada received royal assent yesterday. Unfortunately, the Conservative leader asked his members to obstruct and delay this bill. But in spite of this, we are keeping our promise to Canadians so that no matter where they live, they will have access to affordable child care that is inclusive and quality service. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Prime Minister is not worth the cost to our economy. Real per-person GDP has grown slower in Canada than the rest of the G7. Dead last. In fact, our per capita GDP is smaller than it was.
When did your mother become a translator? Right?
Was 5 years ago, the worst record since the Great Depression, and the Parliamentary Budget Office calculates that the carbon tax will blow an $18 billion hole in the size of our GDP, $1,000 in economic cost per family. If he really thinks that's worth the cost, why won't we have a carbon election to...
Oh, they cut his microphone off.
Speaker, at the same time, our population is growing faster than...
Yeah, because you're fucking importing the population, you dolt! Holy crap! You can't import people and then be like, look, our population is growing. It's totally natural.
Countries around the world, if you're going to be telling telling the full story. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, our price on pollution puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadian families in the backstop provinces. This is a fact recognized by the Parliamentary Budget Officer and recognized by Canadians who see both a real plan to invest in the jobs and careers of the future, the competitiveness that Canada needs, and the fight against climate change to keep us safe, while putting more money in the pockets of Canadian families from coast to coast to coast.
Why does he keep saying coast to coast to coast? What third coast do we have? We've got the Atlantic coast on the east, we've got the Pacific coast on the west. Is he counting the Arctic Ocean? Is that really what, like, okay.
Leader of the opposition.
The government gets bigger, the people get poorer. After 8 years, he's not worth the cost. He's blowing another $18 billion hole in our GDP with this carbon tax. A hole that will mean lower wages and a lower quality of life for the Canadian people. The Prime Minister now wants to quadruple the carbon tax, starting with his April Fool's Day hike. When will he realize that after 8 years of Canadians lining up in food banks and living in tents, he's not worth the cost?
Never.
Prime Minister. Speaker, the price on pollution returns every dollar that it collects.
Oh, now he's trying to have his patient dad voice. Do you hear that? Do you hear that nonsense?
The price on pollution returns every dollar that it collects to the jurisdictions in which it's connected.
Twice as many people came into the country as there were housing units built. I wonder what sort of problems that could possibly cause. Oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine, famine.
In the pockets out of 8 out of 10 Canadian families in backstop provinces. This is
to be inclusive of the northern coast and the mostly unpopulated northern territories.
Change builds a stronger economy and supports Canadians right now with rebate checks that the Leader of the Opposition would cancel.
Yeah.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Gladly.
Based on his own main estimates and public accounts, he's collected over $20 billion in taxes and only returned $18 billion. So it is factually inaccurate to say that he's given every penny back. In fact, we know that in every single province where the carbon tax applies, Canadians pay more than they get back. And there is only one provincial party that supports the tax. The BC NDP is happily implementing this federally mandated tax grab. Will the
let's see. Oh, you're right. $10 a day daycare. Think about that. That means you would need 100 kids. 10 kids for every $100 you spend on supplies. And teachers in the education. Yeah. That's true. Oh right, he's a fucking drama teacher, so overcrowding doesn't matter because drama is not the overcrowded subject in school. Nope.
Today, allow British Columbia to cancel the April Fool's Day tax hike.
Nope.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in a question and a contrast.
Oh!
The reality.
He knocked his water over. He's all upset. He knocked his water over. Look.
Mr. Speaker, in a question and a contrast on facts, the reality is the BC government has had a price on pollution since 2008, and the federal government has no involvement in British Columbia.
He just spilled all of his water all over the place.
That the leader of the Conservative Party is trying to share with this House. He must be.
Yes, the leader of the Liberal Party. He just said that.
The Conservative Party has no involvement in British Columbia's price on pollution. It is a simple error of fact that the leader of the Conservative Party is trying to share with this House. He must be mistaken. Maybe it's an honest mistake, but the reality is he is wrong on the fact on that, just like he's wrong on the fact that he doesn't understand that 8 out of 10 Canadians do not agree with the price on pollution.
Holy shit! What kind of scramble was that? What the Ever since he took office, I have seen immigrants on corners holding signs asking for money. I've never seen that before now. We're talking women in full head-to-toe burqas, barely speaking English, asking for money. Yeah. This is insane. Like, what kind of scramble was that? Holy shit.
The honorable leader of the opposition.
Page 75 of the BC budget confirmed that they
He spilled it on the desk of the lady behind him? Oh.
federal law. And according to the Vancouver Sun, the NDP budget and fiscal plan presented in February says the carbon tax will
It wasn't even his water.
$9 over 3 years. The New Democrats plan to give back $3.5 billion in climate action tax credits to low and middle income folks and spend the rest as they see fit. So
oh, well, how nice.
Carbon tax
just spend the rest as they see fit.
NDP, BC counterparts so that British Columbians can get their money back.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
You'd think that for someone who's been railing against our plan,
Ladies and gentlemen, gaslighting 102. Yep.
For months now, he'd actually have done his research to understand how it works. Every single
I'm sorry. Did you just say that with a straight face?
For months now, he'd actually have done his research to understand how it works. Every single province has the ability to put forward their own plan to
and you keep saying that they're not good enough.
fight climate change as long as it is
As long as they meet our rules.
to be fair to the other provinces that are also doing the same. That's what a Canada-wide plan to fight climate change is all about. Yes, the federal backstop gives back more money directly to Canadians, 8 out of 10 cases. BC and others are free to do their own thing.
BC and others are free to do their own thing. Okay.
Leader of the Bloc Québécois, Mr. Speaker.
Oh my God.
Seated in the middle of some 100 Liberal MPs that risk losing their jobs, the Prime Minister keeps interfering into provincial jurisdiction with his drug farm.
Maybe he was hoping it was hot coffee and he would get a medical emergency. Oh shit. You could be right about that.
Care policy that we already have in Quebec, but he refuses to increase OAS. Another example. Well, we're not municipal funds.
Oh my God!
Municipalities can do what they want.
Fire this bitch!
The government wants to impose its own choices. Can he talk to the 12 mayors of Charlevoix, tell them that he'll take a step back and let them do their job? The Right Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, the Bloc leader is mistaken. We increased old age funds for seniors that are 70 years of age or older because they know we have higher costs than others. Yes, we recognize that even in Quebec,
make her stop.
Across the country, there are people who cannot pay for their medications for diabetes and their contraception because they're not covered. So we'll be here to work with Quebec.
See, now he just called it the federal backstop.
So that people can have their diabetes medications and their contraceptives.
Provides more money to Canadians. Yeah.
Stay healthy. The honorable member for Ballet-Chambly.
He can't make up his mind as to what to call it.
Use a lot of contraceptives, but I know in Quebec, diabetes drugs are covered. But I know. I don't know if seniors use a lot of contraceptives. I know in Quebec, diabetes drugs are covered. He says, I don't know what I'm talking about. The collectivity fund, well, it should be up to the municipalities to do the work that they want.
I am a robot who can't even translate properly, and I stumble and stumble and stumble. Holy shit. This chick is horrible.
But the government that says it seems to be putting money into housing and it's asking.
And the only contraceptive seniors should be using are condoms. It's the amount of STDs among seniors in nursing homes is awful.
Their funding. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, I think we do have challenges in terms of facts today.
Oh, yeah, you do. That's for sure.
Accelerator Fund across the country actually helps municipalities by helping create more housing faster.
You sure have challenges with facts,
we gave
sir.
The government $900 million that they added to another $900 million for municipalities across Quebec to.
So we're talking about $1.8 billion?
To work.
Where?
Respecting jurisdiction in partnership with Quebec to help both small and large municipalities across the province. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
This Prime Minister's catch and release policies and his mismanagement of our ports. Car thefts have gone up by over 200% in Toronto.
We're probably going to get 5 more minutes of this.
12,000 cars stolen in Canada's biggest city every single year.
There are 12,000 cars.
In Montreal. There are 12,000 cars stolen in Canada's biggest city every single year.
That is insane.
That is 1 car stolen every 40 minutes. Will the Prime Minister accept my common sense plan to scan every shipping container, reinforce our ports, and put career car thieves behind bars?
No, because that would involve actual concrete action taken by the government.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, cracking down on auto theft starts with going after organized crime. $121 million for Ontario to crack down on organized crime and car theft, and the Conservative Party voted against it.
Yeah, because you were creating office positions. You weren't actually doing anything.
And to stop organized crime, we're cracking down on money laundering, something the Conservative Party also voted against. We will take no lessons from the Conservative Party that chose to weaken our borders and pull money back from enforcement services any chance they got while they were in government. They did that.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
We pulled money back from back office bureaucracy and costly consultants that now chew up the budget. CBSA is now spending $660 million on a Arrive scam, while only 5 CBSA officers are monitoring 500,000 shipping containers.
5 agents for 500,000 containers. How does that work? At all.
At the Port of Montreal, Conservatives put more CBSA agents on the front line at the Port of Montreal and across the country. Won't he accept my common sense plan to cut back on the consultants and put boots on the ground?
I'd like to ask the Honourable Member from New Westminster Burnaby, please, to allow the questions to be asked and for answers to be given without interruption. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, let's see what else was in that bill. Was it something about money going out of the country? Somewhere, I believe so. Yep.
Conservative government in which that leader was a minister cut hundreds, if not thousands, of positions in law enforcement.
Yeah, bureaucratic positions.
CBSA officers and those back office experts who actually analyzed the bills of lading and the origins to designate and to find out where these auto thefts are happening, which containers have stolen vehicles in them. We're investing in them. We're giving more money so they can do their work. The common sense is nonsense that the leader of the opposition.
The common sense is nonsense. There, clip that, somebody. That's what he was begging for. Some liberal, clip that, please.
Well, why don't we just look at the CBSA's own numbers on this? In the first year of the Conservative
Oh look, we've got Father Polyev now.
And 73 CBSA officers. In the last year, there were 14,113. I know the Prime Minister's not great with numbers, but 14,000 is bigger than 12,000, right? And by the way, if he wants to analyze whether stolen cars are in shipping containers, why doesn't he accept my plan to scan those shipping containers?
Oh.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'll let the Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, he almost called him by name. That's not parliamentary.
High-priced corporate lobbyist friends who give him so much money at fancy catch for access private events. Explain
I'm sorry, what?
On supply chains and shipping in Canada to try and scan 600,000 containers a day, Mr. Speaker. The fact is, we are doing everything.
Well, if they had the boots on the ground, they could do that.
Those containers and to do the work, he's not paying attention.
He's not.
The country, even though he is
Are
listening.
you broken?
The Honourable Member from Calgary Skyview.
Mr. Speaker, Calgary and my home province of Alberta is home to tens of thousands of proud Ukrainian Canadians. Since Russia's illegal war,
Bill Blair is a conservative now? Wait, what? Is he sitting on the conservative side? Weird.
It is why our government introduced a modernized Canada-Ukraine free trade agreement that President Zelensky asked for to be there to help Ukraine rebuild after they defeat Russia. Shamefully, the Conservative Party did
Or
not
is
want
this
to
Bill
accept
Blair now?
Ukraine's reasonable request for assistance. Can the Prime Minister
His reasonable request for assistance.
agreement?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, after that Conservative leader turned his back on Ukrainians and forced his own caucus to do the same, he...
Huh?
Colleagues, order please. I'm going to ask the Prime Minister to start from the top.
Mr. Speaker, after that Conservative leader turned his back on Ukrainians and forced his own caucus to do the same, he whipped his senators last night to vote against the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement that Ukraine asked for. Our Liberal caucus...
Yeah, because the Ukraine is not Canada. And we shouldn't be sending more shit over there.
Ukraine's hopes to rebuilding after they win the war. The Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement received royal assent last night. While conservative politicians sell out to the Kremlin, we will stand with Ukraine.
Except we don't have to scan 500,000 containers. All you have to do is investigate. All you have to do is investigate. Sorry. All you have to do is investigate the manifests to begin with off the hop, and then it eliminates 400,000 containers. Yep. That's all you have to do.
The opposition. The $60 million Arrive scam is just the tip of the iceberg. We now learn that there are $5 million in additional fraud that has been identified by the Department of Public Procurement. And this is out of the $21 billion the Prime Minister is now spending on outside consultants, a 100% increase, and fully with the support
That's insane.
of the NDP. Can the Prime Minister tell us how much of this $21 billion is fraud?
That's a good question.
The situation is obviously unacceptable, which is why authorities are looking into this procurement process. Anyone who took advantage of our COVID response to save Canadian lives should face consequences.
Stop.
Federal contracts with these companies have been suspended as the investigation continues. But everyone in this house notice how quickly...
Fuck Ukraine, they're a sovereign nation that should be handling its own shit. Yep.
His members are ashamed of him for forcing him to vote against Ukrainian Canadians.
His members are ashamed of him, are they? God damn, dude. Yell more, why don't you? Children. Calm down, children.
All members to please. Order. I'd like to remind the Prime Minister, please, to make sure that questions and comments are directed through the chair.
Ha ha!
Leader of the opposition.
You got reprimanded.
Demonstrates once again he is a fake and he is a phony because he's a fake and
Oh yeah, because it's not about giving his boyfriend any money. Ha!
The honourable leader of the opposition is a very experienced member of Parliament, and I know that he would understand that kind of a statement that directed to an individual would not be considered parliamentary. So I'll ask the honourable member to continue with this question.
the Prime Minister is a fake and a phony on this issue, just like on everything else. He sends.
Oh, they cut him off again. He's gonna be cited. Watch this. Oh, they've turned off the mics. Everybody's all upset now. I'm sure there's lots of arm waving and hand flapping. This is, wow. Wow, there is uproar in the House of Commons right now. They have muted the microphones. They have, oh, here we go.
The honourable member, again, is a very experienced member, and he knows that when the Speaker asks him to chastise us a little bit for the use of language which is not considered parliamentary, I'd ask him please to rephrase, with all those comments, rephrase the question without using those words.
Without those mean words. Without those mean, true words. The Western world is in the poorhouse and our leaders are giving money to a clown.
This is a Prime Minister who authorized the export of gas turbines to pump gas from Putin's economy into Europe to fund the war. He's someone who signed on to allow Russian detonators to blow up Ukrainians on the battlefield, and he's a pro-Russia energy policy to fund the Russian economy. We'll take no less.
Nice! He was about to say, we'll take no lessons. They cut him off.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
That is pretty weak sauce from the leader of the opposition. The reality
I'm sorry, did you just use the phrase weak sauce? You're 52 years old and you just used the words weak sauce. Are you a YouTuber now? Justin Trudeau thinks he's a cool, edgy internet dude. Okay, cool, awesome.
I see that the opposition House Leader is asking members to be calm. I'm going to ask all House Leaders to please ask all of your members from all sides to be calm. So, and I'll ask in particular the member from Dufferin-Caledon, please, to hold on until he has the time to speak. So, the Honourable Prime Minister, please.
Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition is flailing in every way he can to try and divert the attention from the fact
flailing in every way he can. I'm sorry, who threw a glass of water on somebody's desk a few minutes ago? I think that was you.
free trade deal. The reality is his constituents across the country feel betrayed by
Do
the
they?
Conservative Party voting against.
Really? Then why are they rallying again, like, around him?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Ukrainians asked for us to give missiles that Conservatives support to Ukraine, not to give turbines and detonators to Russia, which is what he has done. He has failed Ukrainians abroad, and and he's failed Canadians at home. Canadians are good and decent people. They don't have to live this way. They do not have to give up the things they used to take for granted, like affordable food and homes, all for the incompetence and ego of one man. He is not worth the cost or the corruption. Will he call a carbon tax election so Canadians to decide?
Yes! Good show, Polyev. Justin needs to catch these hands.
Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, notice how desperate he is to try and find any excuse he can to justify their voting against Ukraine.
Oh, fuck off!
About the price on pollution.
Notice how desperate he is.
He's not using that as an excuse, even though that was all we heard as a justification for why they voted against Ukraine, voted against Ukrainian Canadians, voted against the reconstruction of Ukraine that we are committed
Oh my
to
god.
agreement. He stood in this house
Hyperventilate more.
and is now trying to do anything he can to hide from it. He let down Ukraine, and that showed who he is.
Wow! Listen to this.
And voted against Ukraine and is now trying to do anything he can to hide from it. He let down Ukraine, and that showed who he is.
I think we're seeing who you are right now. I bet you that you act like that with Sophie. I bet you that behind closed doors, that's how Trudeau behaves with Sophie. I bet you he gets right up in her face and pounds on shit and screams like that at her. I bet you we just gotta look into the private Justin Trudeau. I think we just watched the mask fall. And I think we just got a glimpse of what Justin Trudeau is like in private when he's angry. I think this was I don't think that was all showboating for politics. I think that was actually, I think that was actually a glimpse of Justin Trudeau's temper. Wait, his constituents are mad because he voted against Ukraine? Yes, apparently all of Polyev's constituents and all the conservative constituents with conservative MPs representing them are disappointed because they voted against Ukraine.
Order.
Children, stop it.
The honourable member for Ottawa-Vanier.
Climate change is a reality that impacts my constituents in Ottawa-Vanier.
Oh, fuck!
Start for our government to reduce emissions while putting more money back in their pockets.
Well, stop building giant goddamn skyscrapers in Ottawa then, you idiots.
That is why every year they receive $1,120 from the Canada Carbon Rebate.
You can't even defend what you're doing, you stupid Liberal MP.
Conservative politicians fail to recognize that climate change is real and that there's an even greater cost of inaction. Can the Prime Minister inform Canadians why our climate
I will just ask. Well, we'll start again with 10 seconds for the question.
I hate this
I'd like to ask
translator.
the member for Jacques Cartier-Portneuf to retain himself while someone is asking questions.
Retain yourself.
While conservative politicians fail to recognize that climate change is real and that there is an even greater cost of inaction, can the Prime Minister inform Canadians why our plan is so important?
Here, here.
Oh, please. Oh, come on. Oh, what an ass-kissing question. What a self-serving, ass-kissing question. Holy fuck. Why did you make me hit you? Yeah. This is the most beta attempt to deepen one's voice I have ever fucking heard. Yeah. Yeah.
Prime Minister.
her important question and her hard work.
Thank you, member for Ottawa Vanier, for self-serving us that we really needed this help right now.
That amount might be minimal to him when he's cashing his CCB check, but not to middle-class families. But now we know why he wants to take money away from Canadians. He's in the pocket of big business. We learned from
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, how many lobbyists do you have for Loblaws in your cabinet right now, you asshole?
He was partying with oil lobbyists and CEOs at private cash for access fundraisers in Banff just last year. He cares about his wealthy donors getting richer. He doesn't care about getting...
She's probably afraid Justin will elbow her.
The honourable member from Nanaimo Ladysmith.
Mr. Speaker, families in Nanaimo, Ladysmith, and across Canada should not have to worry about how to keep their kids fed while at school. A national school food program would make sure kids...
No, thank you. We don't need to be like fucking... We don't need national lunch program. Thank you. You know what we need? We need less expensive groceries. Instead of a national food program, we need less expensive groceries. How about that?
Feeding kids while putting the profits of CEOs first. Children should not be left to go hungry.
No, you're right. So lower the goddamn carbon taxes. Get rid of them.
Budget.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, like all members in this House, they're going to have to wait until April 16th to find out what's in our budget. But I can give people a preview right now. There will be support on housing.
She's going to have to wait for the October 16th budget?
Opportunities to invest in growing the economy and creating good jobs for the future while we help Canadians through tough times right now. We are focused on young people. We are focused on seniors. We're going to keep delivering, including...
We're going to keep delivering Canada right into the depths of hell. That's what we're going to do.
The honourable member from Kitchener Centre.
Mr. Speaker, thanks to the powerful advocacy of people with disabilities across the country, every MP in this House supported legislation meant to lift people with disabilities out of poverty. 9 months later, still no commitment from this government to fund what will be called the Canada Disability Benefit.
Yeah, the fuck?
Legislation. This government sure moved fast to make sure people with disabilities could die well. Will the Prime Minister show he's ready to ensure
Thank you.
disabilities live well by committing to a fully funded benefit by budget 2024?
Oh, shame on him? No. Not shame on him. Good for him for pointing that out. Because the MAID thing specifically says if you have a disability and you don't need to have a foreseeable death. So yeah, they have made it so people with disabilities can die well before they've made it so they can live well. Not shame on him. Good for him. The kids sure would have better lunches from home if I didn't have to pay so much for fucking gas. Yeah. We need less federal interference. Let the provinces fend for ourselves. Bold of him to assume he will be here for October 16th. Yeah. He's a Green Party guy. Oh, is he? But still, good for him for pointing that out.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member is better than that question that he just...
Oh, please. The member is better than that question?
asked. He knows
Really?
that it's really important to
Oh,
be
I'm
there
sorry.
to both protect people when they're most vulnerable and be there to support their wishes. That
Oh, okay. So, do you think people who are signing up for MAID because they can't afford to live actually want to die? You think that is a thing? You really think so?
is something that is foundational in Canada. In regards to people living with disabilities, we have invested more in people with disabilities over
Where?
the last 8 years than ever before.
Where?
There's more to do. We were
Because you had a token for your Minister of Disabilities and Inclusion?
in the coming months.
It being 3:23, the House will now proceed to the taking.
So that's the end of question period. And holy shit, was that insane. That was a crazy, crazy question period. I can't even with what we just witnessed. It is crazy to me that this is actually happening. I am going to find the actual vote of no confidence and I will play that for you guys tomorrow morning. I will let you know the result of that, and we will also look at today's question period tomorrow as well. I really hope you enjoyed today's stream, and I hope you're enjoying the format of what I'm doing. I will be back tonight for Twitch. I apologize for not being there last night, but I will be back tonight with some Mortal Kombat, and we'll just have a chilled out game stream. I'm aiming for 9:30, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you have your notifications turned on for Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out the Streamlabs link. You can send in tips or buy merch anytime. If it happens when I'm not live, I will thank you next time I go live. So have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and I will catch you tonight on Twitch at 9:30. Have an awesome day. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.